Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Pyne v. Albo!
I never get sick of it. In just a few hours' time, Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and President Donald Trump will hold their first historic meeting in New York. Christopher Pyne and Anthony Albanese join us now. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Carl. Good morning, Anthony.
Christopher, that meeting has been delayed. Is it true that the Prime Minister was overheard saying, "Doesn't he know who I am"?
No, I doubt that very much. So obviously President Trump's had a big win in the Congress overnight, our time, with the Obamacare Health Act being repealed, whether you think that's a good thing or not, and he wants to make the most of that, as you'd expect. These things happen in Canberra and in Washington, so the meeting has been delayed a little bit. It'll still go ahead. Obviously it's a big occasion for the 75th anniversary of the Battle of the Coral Sea, and I'm looking forward to President Trump and Malcolm Turnbull getting together.
Well, it'd be like a 2-minute meeting. He's been royally snubbed by Trumpy. Come on.
Not at all. Not at all.
Albo?
Oh, look, these things happen.
Oh, come on.
These things happen. I'm not going to politicise a meeting between the Australian PM and the US President.
That's soft of you on a Friday.
You're such a statesman,
isn't he?
I am. Friday morning, just after 6 o'clock.
OK.
Ask me after 8 and I'll go hard.
All right, he's probably DJ Albo. He's probably going to go ask for our help with North Korea. Are we going to climb in there, Christopher, or not?
Well, obviously, we are working closely with the United States on the issues surrounding North Korea. We want North Korea to dismantle any program to build a intercontinental ballistic missile that could reach Australia or the continental US. That's a serious threat to us, so we are definitely strongly supporting the United States in the pressure they're putting on North Korea, but also China, because China is the country with the most influence in North Korea, and I note that China and North Korea are having their own issues right now, and I think China will push back quite heavily. Yeah,
China's weighed in. Albo, would you support our involvement?
Well, I don't think anyone's suggesting military action. What they're doing is discussing the ways in which we can cooperate to ensure that there's a peaceful resolution. I think that is what the whole world wants, but we have a direct interest in.
OK, Christopher, the education reforms, Catholics still aren't happy. Tony Abbott says it would be on a loser if it looked like disadvantaging Catholic schools. Do you agree with Tony?
Well, of course, Catholic schools are getting a $1 billion increase in spending and a 3.7% rise in spending over the next 10 years. So how anybody could feel that they're losing when they're getting $1 billion extra is beyond me. I think the reforms are great. I noticed yesterday Labor trying to run a scare campaign in the morning and Tanya Plibersek saying they wouldn't put any extra money in the afternoon. So Labor is all at sea and we're just getting on with the job, whether it's higher education reform, school reform, childcare reform, company tax cuts, savings measures.
But
we are actually getting the job done.
Not alone in saying that the Catholic schools are very concerned about this, and it's a fair chunk of the electorate.
Well, look, I'm not going to comment on Tony Abbott's remarks. I'm not a commentator on my colleagues. The reality is it's the good reform. We've resolved the warfare between the sectors, between the states. Labor left us with a dog's breakfast. 27 different agreements, and they didn't really implement the Gonski model
How'd you go as Education Minister, mate?
Very well, actually. I was one of the more successful ones in recent decades, as you always used to say, in fact.
The fact is that you've got Tony Abbott out there. You speak about ending the warfare. The warfare's ongoing in the Liberal Party. Tony Abbott and Andrew Hastie visiting schools to campaign against the Turnbull government. This is extraordinary in the lead-up to a budget next Tuesday. Tony Abbott has said that there'll be a showdown in the party room next week about this issue, but I'm sure about other issues as well. This ongoing dogfight is just unbelievable.
Gentlemen, we are out of time. Gonski, thank you for your time. Have a great weekend, Lisa.
Good to be with you.
Thanks, Carl. Channel 9 presenter Erin Molan